hired. Sometimes the rejection is
Mm,
not based on the fact that you are incompetent in terms of skill sets. It just feels
mm,
that you don't have what it takes to get them to that destination. Simple.
mm,
So sometimes it's not really about, oh, I did a test and I failed. That was why they rejected me. No. Sometimes it's just the fact that you are not going to fit into their plan on the long term.
mm,
So if I want to know the right person for me, I start with myself. What are my core values? What do I stand for? If you know yourself, I can assure you that the right people will naturally flow towards you,
mhm,
because those ones also know themselves to some certain extent, and they're able to connect with you when you guys meet. You can speak at a certain frequency. You know that this person understands where I'm headed to, and that way you are able to build some level of connection.
mhm.
All right. So first thing is know thyself.
Hi guys, my name is Oluwayemisi Adebayo, and of course, it's another set of TTS Initiative, and it's the pod four actually of TTS Initiative. So with me here, we have another interesting guest. Trust me, we're always bringing on board experienced, people, and this person is not just experienced, but is how would I describe it? Because I just had about few seconds kind of discussion with our guest, and trust me, his profile is rich. Okay, so today we're speaking with Temidayo. Hi, Temidayo.
Hello, Nigeria. Hello, world. Nice to be here.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice to have you. So, quick one, Temidayo. Let's just start. I know that you have your background in tech. And I
Hmm.
know that when it comes to products, developing softwares and stuff like that, talent and the likes, it's your core area of expertise. Now, I would like
Hmm.
to ask you briefly, just because our target audience are teenagers and young youth, how would you
Yeah.
describe dreams, careers, and talent? Because most times they look like different names with different meanings. So, would you say they're the same thing, or is there any difference between these three keywords?
Okay, great. So for me, I think one of the things I tell people is that we have talent like everywhere in the world, right? So what that means, if when you share the word talent, is you have every single person has like specific skills that they possess, right?
Mhm,
Some of them are latent, right? It's just within, you're not doing anything with it, right? You're just
mhm,
there, you have the potential, right? But you're not doing anything with that. Yeah. And then the dream part is that, okay, I have something ahead of me, right? But I've not brought that to reality. I mean, there are
mhm,
visions, there are incredible things I want to do. I want to become
mhm,
the next CEO in a big four. That's an
mhm.
example, right? But
Yeah.
you are not a CEO yet. You are not even close to that. So you have
Mhm,
big dreams for yourself, right? So every person wants to have that kind of thing, right? And then when it
mhm,
comes to career is a place where you can leverage your skills, that's the
mhm,
talents, your
mhm,
talents and the vision, right? And bring them to reality.
mhm,
So I would say that when it comes to talent, for example, I am saying something like, okay, I have great communication skills, right? For
mhm,
example, I have the leadership skills, I have the problem solving, capacity, right? But all of these things will not make any sense if you don't have a career to express everything,
mhm,
right? You only have the tendencies, you have the potential, but you need a
mhm.
place where you can put that to work.
Yeah.
And that is where you need a career. So it doesn't mean that, I mean, at the early stage of a career is just always fantastic. It's very hard, right, to
Mhm,
build. But then when you identify those skill sets that you possess already, the latent skill sets that you possess, right, and you have a vision to back it up, then you need a career to express
mhm,
yourself. So if I already say that I have people skills, right? I love to, roll out with people. I love to engage them. I am so obsessed with solving people's problems, right? I can easily tell that it seems like you're going to enjoy maybe product management, for example, or you might enjoy something like software engineering because you love problem
Mm,
solving. You're going to solve problems a
mm,
lot. So that's how you can define your career. When you
oh,
know this, when you know your talent, you know the skills that you have already, and then as time goes on, you'll be able to, learn other additional skills. But then you need the basics, you need the core for yourself, right? I mean, if you can't deal with people,
mm,
why are you going for product management? You need to develop that already. So talent, dreams, and career, they all work together, right? Because dreams mean nothing when you don't have a career to express it. You
mm.
need a place where you can
Interesting.
express it. So dreams
Interesting.
mean nothing. I mean, if you say you want to be a CEO, how do you want to? You need to start from somewhere, probably a product manager role, or software development role, and then you start moving, you start climbing the ladder.
Mm,
Do you get?
mm,
So you can have all the great dreams in the world, you can have the best skill set, but if you don't have the career to back it up, it's a problem. I'll give an example. A football player, the guy can dribble, he can do all of the stuff, he has all the potential of a footballer, right? And he wants to
mm,
be the next Ronaldo, for example, or the next Messi, but you don't have a football club. So
mm.
tell me, how do you want to become the next Ronaldo or the next Messi? So you need a career to
Okay.
express your dreams and your
Mm.
talents.
Balance. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. In fact, I personally, I just learned something new. But again, I want to quickly say first, or I want to quickly ask before I move on to my next question, just more like an addition.
Mm,
Are you saying that because you have mentioned that what you like can translate to your career? I've had people say that sometimes it's not that because sometimes what I like is not sellable. Sometimes what I
mm.
like is not in the market or it's not selling, it's not trending. So how do we manage this gap?
Okay, you will realize that I didn't mention that you like a career. I mean, that's not talent. So skills can be anything, right? They might not be specific to a certain career, right? They are just skills that you possess, right? Like people skills that you possess normally, and then those skills will be translated, right, when you have a career. Do you understand? So if I say product management, for example, you might not like all the old complexities around product management, the documentation, and all of the other things, right? But the fact that you love people, you
Mm,
love to communicate, you love to solve problems, you're always
mhm,
thinking about a new way, but you don't like the way people document stuff, you don't like to write, you can
mm,
still consider it. So you learn other skills along the way. What you need is the basics, the fundamentals, the basics. All right.
mm,
So when I said that earlier on, I didn't say that your skills. I mean, I'm talking about your talent now. That you, I'm not. I wasn't saying that you need to like something
mm,
before you build a career in that thing. It might be something very boring to you, but then
mm,
because you have all the basics sorted out, every
mm,
other thing you might probably want to learn that or probably move on. And don't forget that when it comes to having people skills, having communication, leadership, and every other thing, it's not just applicable to product management.
yeah,
There are other places where you can express yourself, right? So
mm,
it is your duty to now explore different careers that have the propensity to be able to demonstrate those specific skills. Do you understand now?
mm,
Yeah.
mhm,
So I can say, okay, well, let me try product management. If it doesn't work, I'll probably try something else, maybe software development, or I want to try something. So you just keep trying different things until you get
mhm,
that one thing. And don't forget that, as I said, you building a career is not straightforward, right? It's not like
mhm,
you start now and then you get to your destination. You are going to pivot, you are going to move from one level to another. At some point, you have to make adjustments to your structure, you have to even pivot to another role entirely. Do you understand, along the way? So it is the fact that you have the basics sorted out. For example, I started off as a a software backend developer, right? While I was in school, right? I was doing a lot of backend work, but because I had the basics sorted out, problem solving, I was able to move from back end to front end to mobile
Mm.
development. Do you get? So I
Yeah.
have moved from one role to another in the past like 6 years already. So I've not been doing the same thing over and over again. And now I do writing. I don't love, I mean, interestingly, at the early stage of my career, I didn't love writing. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it, but I had to learn it. So now
Mm.
I write books and all of that. So what I'm saying is that it is not, when it comes to building a career, it's not straightforward. And it's not like something you don't have to build career around something you enjoy, because
Mm.
when it comes to building career, you might not even enjoy it. It might be boring at the early stage. You only enjoy it when you've gained mastery. It becomes a
Mm.
part of you. When you've gained mastery, it becomes, you say, oh, I enjoy. Why? You enjoy it because you are getting it right.
Yeah.
For a newbie, it's hard. Life is hard.
True. All right, thank you. So I would move to the next question. And the next question
Yeah.
will be that we all understand that we have strengths, just like in business, where you would always
Mm.
define your, you always do your SWOT analysis, your
Yeah.
strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. But this time around, let's focus on the strength. As a youth or a teenager who's just in the last class, trying to move into university or trying to move into the market, how
Yeah.
do they become conscious or self-aware about their strength? Making use of their strength, discovering I have this strength in, I've discovered there are even some set of people we've met in the course of some of our projects. We've met students, I mean, at the 16, 17 years old, very good at football,
Mm.
tailoring, pattern, and stuff like that. And they just see it as casual. They just feel like it's one of those things. So, how do you get? What point do you get to, or what are the tips that would help them, you know, um, notice or realize that self-awareness and know that, oh, these are my strengths and these are the areas I can, help myself.
Great question. I think self-awareness is very important in this age, right? In the world where there are so many things flying around,
Mm.
self-awareness is very fundamental. It's very critical right now. So for me, what I tell people is that it's a map, right? It's a compass that shows you where you are. I mean, that's
Mm.
self-awareness. It shows you where you are and what you can do, right? But these days, I've realized that people are just oblivious of
Mm.
where they are. I mean, you are dreaming big, you want to become this and that, but the question is, looking at this current situation of things, right? Are you sure this is what you want to do? I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of constraints, right? There are a lot of
Mm.
limitations like surrounding our choices and decision making because of where we are, right? There's some
Mm.
things that you cannot do in Nigeria until you move. That's an
Mm.
example. So if you're having that kind of big stuff in your mind and you're still in Nigeria, there is a constraint already. So the only thing for you to do is you have to admit where you are. Like you have to acknowledge that this is where I am and this is what I can do at this point in time.
Mm.
Do you understand? So I
Yes, I
think
do.
first thing is let us learn how to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Just it is not weakness that you are saying that this thing is out of reach right now. It's not like you are lazy, right? Just have to admit that this is the reality of things in my environment right now. There are a lot of
Mm.
constraints guiding the way I make some choices.
Mm.
There are some roles in Nigeria that would not fly. So
Mm.
why are you trying to push it right now when you know that there is no market for it now in Nigeria except you relocate? And you don't
Mm.
have any plans for relocation at the moment. So why are you still pushing? It's because you don't want to admit, you don't want to accept the reality. You said no, there's still better way around this. There's still a better way around it. I will make it. I will do this. You are just stressing yourself. I mean, it's
Mm.
great that you dream big. It's great
Mm.
that you have that energy, that vibe to
Mm.
say, I am unstoppable, right? I can
Mm.
do anything. I mean, it's great to say those things, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge the reality.
Mhm.
So, learning how to use the compass every single time you're making decision is very crucial. So, you are going to, let's say you want to make a move,
Yeah.
you are asking yourself different questions. Does this thing apply in Nigeria, in my location? It could be any country, right? Can I get this one done in 5 years or 6 years before you dive into it? And that is
Mm.
self-awareness. So it's not like you are trying to oversell the old vision, right? You are looking at the current environment and what is going to happen in the next 5 years. And you are saying that I don't think this is going to fly now. But for
Yeah.
now, I may want to chase it in the future. It's fine. But for now, I need something to survive. I need something to sustain myself, right? I mean, you can. There was a time that I was having a chat with one of my mentees, and he was telling me about how he wanted to do so many things. I saw that these things are big dreams, right? But the question is, how do you want to fund yourself? How do you want to take care of yourself right now? He said you still have to put energy into that thing. And I know, looking at that thing, it's a long
Mm.
journey. It's a long ride. So you can fund your passion or your vision in the future, but you need something right now. Self-awareness will guide you on what to do now. What do you
Mm.
need now? Get into it, and later on you can chase that big dream that you have.
Mm.
What do you need?
Amen.
Start from there. Yeah, start from
Right.
there. Self-awareness. I'm
Yes.
very sure there is this guy called the CEO of Google,
Mm-hmm.
Sundai Pichai, right? He started off when Gmail was launched, right? That was 2006 thereabout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that the guy had a big vision in his mind that, oh, I was going to be a CEO one day, or probably I was going to build my own business or a tech company. Do you understand? The guy
Yeah.
started as a product manager. That was it for Google, and he's been there with Google for over, I mean, several decades now. Yeah, and now he's the CEO of Google.
Mm.
So now the big vision is now coming to reality, but he had to start
Mm.
from somewhere. I cannot be a
Sure.
CEO now. Okay, let me just start with product management. Just basic.
Mm. Mm.
So self-awareness will help us make the right decisions at the right time. Decisions
Mm.
that would help us to not be idle, to just not
Mm.
stay and be hoping for the future. And let's hope that the future is going to be bright. No,
Mm.
you need to start with something now. It might not be where you are going to.
Yeah.
Self-awareness will tell you that, look at it, start here first. Then
Okay.
we'll come back to this in the future, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's just like moving from point A to point B instead of just waiting to move from point
Waiting.
A to point
Yeah.
Z.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Still.
that's right. That's okay. Okay, so let's look at let's move a little bit to let's tilt towards young people in business.
Yeah.
So I know that you've had some global kind of relationship. You've been able to build a brand that attracts global community. So I would
Mm.
like to ask this question for our audience.
Yeah.
How or what are the tips to building a personal brand that can attract a global community?
Okay. See this one. I think I've I've said it several times to people as well. Brand
Okay.
branding is not having a very nice social media page.
Mm-hmm.
Branding is not just that. I mean, it's good for the delivery side, but that's not branding. Branding is when you create value, and people you are giving the value can perceive it, that this is
Mm-hmm.
valuable. So if you are not valuable, what are you branding? What are you branding? It's like if Apple phone is crappy, what are they branding? The
Sure.
phone is not valuable. So what are you branding there? No, people will move on. Do you get? So when it comes to building a brand, you
Yeah.
need to start with the value mindset.
Yeah.
Creating value to people. Think about it. I mean, a client comes to you because they wanted to solve their problem. If you
Yeah.
cannot solve their problem, then they would never come back again or refer
Sure.
you to any other person. So branding is, I'm creating value, I get a delivery system
Mm-hmm.
right in place, and then the clients or the customer can perceive it right. But if the value is not great enough, they cannot perceive it as great value.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to have very nice social media pages and all of that. I've seen people have beautiful pages with portfolio and with profile and with social blah blah blah. I've done 10x, I've done 20x. But by the time you have conversations with them,
Mm-hmm.
there is really no depth, right?
Mm.
They don't have, they are good at making the, you know, making the social media look nice, but
Yeah.
the value itself is a problem. Just like a friend of mine told me that, she reached out to someone on socials. This person is a very, in fact, very passionate and blah 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 on socials. He has followership, he has a lot of followers and all of that. And the girl engaged the guy, and she realized that the guy did not really have so much value as she thought,
Mm.
right? So she was actually disappointed, and she could not even say anything. She could not mention it on socials, right? Because it will sound like, oh, like, it's like you are having bad energy towards this person. And don't forget that for branding, the first
Yeah.
thing is create value. That's the
Yeah.
first thing. Then secondary thing that you're eventually going to do is to now pay attention to the delivery system, which is, through socials, through your in person, your personality. All
Mm.
right. So if your personality is not good enough, why are you branding that? Why are you giving us fake profile on socials? If
Mm.
what you have as personality in person cannot
Yeah.
translate to social, and then you have to make adjustment to some things on socials to
Mm-hmm.
just make people look like you are nice or you're good or you're very professional, but in real life you have bad manners, you have bad attitude towards people, you are not customer centric, you are not,
Mm.
you don't care whether the customer is happy, with your product. You don't get feedback. You don't know how
Mm.
to receive feedback. But on socials, you sound like that. You are
Mm.
confusing us already.
Yeah.
And the people that will pay for your service, most of them are not your followers. Some of them are
True.
just looking at you quietly, and they are coming to your DM.
True. True.
So most of the opportunities I've gotten in on different social platforms, they are not for my followers. They
True.
are from people that they've never liked my content before. They've never followed me before. You just send me a
Mm.
DM that, oh, we've seen your stuff. Can we have a chat? Can we have a call, an intro call? And they say, oh, it seems to your you know what you're doing. Let's have a conversation around it again. And I get the deal.
Mm.
Do you understand? So, which is
Great.
why there's no how I don't want to manipulate anything on socials. I just want to be myself, right? On social. So, as I said, the primary thing is value creation.
Value delivery.
Value, value
Okay.
delivery, and
Yeah,
you
there's
create
always
delivery
there's
and perception.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I would only say something because, of course, I'm a marketing expert. I do a lot of marketing, advertising, and stuff like that. So I would always tell clients that you can't sell a bad product twice.
Yeah,
You can only sell a bad product once.
once.
And once you sell a bad product and your client discovers that this has no value, they're out. And you
Yeah,
lost not just that one customer, but you've ended up losing 10 customers because they would not be able to
yeah.
recommend you to anybody. In fact, if any of their circle mentioned that, oh, I'm dealing with this, or I have intention of dealing with this
Mm,
person, they would
yeah,
be the one to discourage that person.
yeah.
So yes, I completely agree with you. I totally agree with you on that that statement that yes, value is first before moving on to
Value.
branding. So when the value
Yes,
is there, attracting the global community makes more sense. All
exactly,
right, thank you so
exactly.
much. So let's look at the red flags. Now, a lot of times we see opportunities that looks very too good to be true, especially when it comes to we have a lot of online opportunities, but it's quite unfortunate that most times this same online is used for other negative things. So let's look at your experience online. Let's look at your experiences so far, dealing, having clients, getting customers online. What are the likely red flags that you would give to, service provider, young youth who are moving into an online business or who are moving into providing services online? What are those red flags to watch out for?
Hmm. So first thing is research. You have to learn the art of research. Like, you have to be very good at that. Before I
Okay.
jump into any opportunity, I do my research. I find out from people connected to that opportunity if there will be anything like that. I
Mm.
make inquiries, I ask questions from them. What do you think about this? And I will give an example, an illustration that, or let me say example. If you are going to, let me say, you want to bring an investor into your business. One of the things that people say, I mean, in terms of that, I mean, one of the things that you should do, I mean, ideally as a founder, is to do your proper due diligence,
True.
right? The fact that the person is giving you money doesn't mean that you don't have the right to question some things, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing is applicable to service providers. The fact that someone is bringing a big opportunity on your table does not stop you from asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Asking questions, like if they are not straightforward with the answers, just know that there is something behind that. You are
Mm-hmm.
asking questions around, what are the terms? Can you explain this to me? What are you looking at?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a full-time job, I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
often is it a work from home, or is it? But you are asking core, like very critical details, right? And they're telling you
Mm-hmm.
that, if someone is already telling you that, don't worry, you will get to know when you join the team, or you'll get to know when we have an engagement. That's a
Mm-hmm.
problem already. So you have to get used to research, learn how to research as much as possible, ask questions, clarifying questions from your clients, from your potential employer. And that's, in fact, it's actually applies to candidates as well, going for interviews,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
asking questions before you jump into the business, or jump into the company and start working, right? So research is the core of
Mm-hmm.
this, and that's how I do it. I think I've explained to you already that I do my research, I ask questions, I look out for people who are already in the company, or people who have engaged the clients, or the company in the past, and just asking questions. What do you think about this person? Do you think this is a good fit? Things like that. A friend of mine got an opportunity, and she was in the middle of making a decision, right? She wanted to, whether to accept the offer or not. So I told her that you don't want to accept this offer immediately. I would encourage that you ask someone who already worked with them and left, right? And she went ahead on LinkedIn to search for somebody. They had a conversation, and the guy said, you don't want to go there, and this is it. You would be exhausted. You should jump on this. You will, right? And then the guy actually explained different reasons behind it. So not like the guy just had a beef. He explained the reason why he had to leave as well. So and he said, if you want to continue with it, it's fine. You're free, but just understand what you are subscribing to. And she had to pass. She had to pass. So, as I said, research will save you from unnecessary drama, that or surprises, things
Yeah.
like that. So research is the key.
Very interesting. Research is, I would agree to research as well. Very important and very necessary. I mean, there are a lot of, like before, backstage when we're talking about so many things regards the youth and teenagers, and I mentioned that a lot of time youth have had to get into deals, associations that they
Yeah,
were told was for positive reasons, but because they, due to their, let me say, naive, were being naive, and they got themselves into trouble.
yeah,
So it's very important that at every level, even every decision making level, even in our
yeah.
personal mind, making decisions, it's very
Research.
important that we do a lot of research.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to move to the next question, which is, I'm going to ask you opportunities available for teenagers right now. Because I know, yes, you are into the tech industry, and you have a lot of products flying. You have even mentioned one, before now. So
Yeah.
what are the opportunities available for people who are looking into moving into tech, especially the young minds, the teenagers and young youth, and also people who are also looking into, porting. I'll use the word porting. I want to say, they want to move into tech. So what are the opportunities available?
The greatest opportunity that we all have right now is the
Mm-hmm.
internet. The internet. That's the biggest that we all have in our possession right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get it right, it will change everything about you. It
Yeah.
will change your perspective. It will change your exposure level if you use it the right way. That's the point. Internet is so powerful that you can you can access anything right from your room,
Mm,
right? You've never been out of Nigeria before, but you are influencing people beyond the shores of Nigeria or Africa, and they are reaching out to you. That's the level. That's the power of the internet. So,
mm,
what I've what I've noticed, right, is that a lot of young people have not maximized this one opportunity properly. We spend most of our time using the internet for other things that do not really matter to our growth, right? We spend more time on entertainment and
mm,
we give less attention to our career growth. And
mm,
the thing is, you cannot fast track your growth when it comes to career. You have to go through that process. You cannot, except
true.
you want to perform some magic.
Mm,
So, to get other opportunities, the question is, how well are you maximizing the one you have, the internet?
mm,
If you can spend 4 hours, 5 hours on social media, why are you telling me that it's a struggle for you to build a career? Why are you telling me that you've not had time to take a course, or you've not had time to network with people? That's not tenable. It's not tenable, because if you're able to give 4 hours of your time conveniently just watching, then you should be able to give way more
mm,
than that in your career. So to access bigger opportunities, you have to expose yourself through the internet. You cannot have a vision beyond what you know,
mm,
because here is it: everything that we imagine in our head is based on our environment.
mm,
So if you have not you're not above, you're not beyond where you are right now, there is no how you want to dream beyond that. It's like
mhm,
somebody in the core part of Lagos, right, very remote area
mm,
of Lagos, and you're asking the person, what do you want to become? What kind of dream do you want to have, or do you have in mind?
mhm.
They will only give you based on what they know.
True.
Just like artificial intelligence, a machine will give you a response based on what it knows,
Mhm,
right? If it's beyond the scope of the environment, it will say, sorry, I don't know, or give you a very wrong answer. So, if you're ever going to get access to bigger opportunities, you need to access the basic level, the internet. Use it well. Grow. Read extensively, watch courses, things that would help you grow as you move on in your career. You have to
mm,
invest more in your career than any other thing right now, because you have the energy, you have the vibe, you have the age at your side. So you can literally do anything, try something, fail at it, go back again. But all of these things will not happen if you are not intentional about the way you use the internet. Internet is the biggest for anybody right now. The internet is the biggest, and it just, it saddens my heart when I see the way people use internet in Nigeria.
mm.
It's just very funny. We have a lot of active users. Where do they exist? Social media. So the question is, yeah, it is, because look at it. If you look at it, every single time you always have something going on socials.
True.
So the question is, does that mean that we don't have people building something right now, or they don't have a job? Everyone is just busy tweeting, engaging, liking, blah blah blah. Like guys, we have
Take it
8 hours.
easy.
Yeah. So it just means that you are literally on your laptop trying to reply everybody and anybody in the world.
Mhm,
Because if you're busy, you would not be doing that. So internet is
mm,
very powerful. If we can invest that into our career, it will change everything about you. And don't forget what I said before, that you cannot dream beyond what you know. You can never.
mm,
So if you
mm.
want to dream beyond your level right now, you have to step up, and you
True.
have to use the internet for that. You have to be exposed. It is what you're
Mhm,
exposed to that will come out of you. If they shake you today, what will come out from? Is it Twitter that will come out from you, or is it TikTok?
Oh,
Is
geez.
it TikTok? If they just someone just punch you like now, say something should just come from your mouth right now. Tell me something. Is it TikTok that will come from you? So
Okay, so that would take me to my next one, which is going to be because we have talked about, what we come out of you networking and stuff like that. Okay, so I'd like to ask you, there's this proverb that would say, if you want to go fast, go alone, or if you want to go far, go together. So what would you say, using your own experience, as, a tech enthusiast, you've been in tech for a long time and you've been running brand and product, tech product. So what would you say
mm,
about this statement?
yeah, I mean, you can if you want to go far away, you need to go with someone. But the question is, do you know yourself?
Do you know yourself first?
Do you know yourself? Do you know your values?
True,
If you don't know anything about yourself, how do you want to identify the right person for you?
true, true.
So the biggest move is start with you. It starts with you. You need to start with yourself. You need to know your values. You need
Mm-hmm.
to know what you stand for. You need to know
Mm-hmm.
where you are heading to. So if you don't know all of these things, you cannot even know the right person for you. No. A company will only hire you when they know that you are a good fit. But then they know themselves. They know the core values. They know the culture of the company. They know the business plan, the business goals for the next 5 years. And they want
Mm-hmm.
to hire based on that. So if you don't fit into that business goals, you are not going to be hired. Sometimes the rejection is not based on the fact that you are incompetent in terms of skill sets. It just feels
Mm-hmm.
that you don't have what it takes to get them to that destination. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's not really about, oh, I did a test and I failed. That was why they rejected me. No. Sometimes it's just the fact that you are not going to fit into their plan on the long term.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to know the right person for me, I start with myself. What are my core values? What do I stand for? If you know yourself, I can assure you that the right people will naturally flow towards you,
Mm-hmm.
because those ones also know themselves to some certain extent, and they're able to connect with you when you guys meet. You can speak at a certain frequency. You know that this person understands where I'm headed to, and that way you are able to build some level of connection.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So first thing is know thyself. Okay.
Thyself.
Okay. know,
I like
know
that. I like
thyself.
that word. Know thyself.
Know thyself. Like that's the
Yeah.
rule number one, like the first commandment of
Yeah.
building connection. Know
Mhm.
thyself. That's the first
Mhm.
thing. And when you're done with that, by the time you see other people, you can have a glimpse of the things you enjoy, the things that you possess
Mhm.
in them,
Yeah. Mhm.
and then they can complement, right? They can complement with you. Do you understand? So it
Mhm.
is more or less like, oh, now I know where I'm headed to. I just need the right people to be in my circle.
Mhm. Yeah.
So for someone like me, I have my regular friends. Like we
Mhm.
gist, we chat, and all of that, right? We have conversations. I have my career pals, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I know the way they think. We can resonate right at a certain frequency. Do you
Mhm.
understand? But we're
Yeah.
not. We don't have deep connection from the standpoint of that personal friendship.
Yeah.
But then we can resonate when it comes to business. I can say, hey, what's up? I'm working on something. What do you think about this? And the person can give you spot on answer. Your best friend might not be able to do that.
Mhm.
Okay. So generally, what you're doing is you understand yourself, and then you find that in other people. Simple. That's how you
Mhm.
know. That's how you know the right people. If you don't know yourself, you can't know the right people for you.
Mhm. Okay, so let me thank you for sharing that. Let me ask you this. What would be your advice or tips to a young youth who is trying to navigate life? navigate their passion, navigate what to do. I'm going to give you an example. A typical example is a young person who studied political science. And
Mm,
then, and the person is, let's say, in somewhere like Nigeria, and then he
mm,
or she's thinking, I studied political science. What next? What are the opportunities? How do I merge what I've studied with the reality? Knowing fully well that when it comes to politics, judging by the environment, would always use the textile,
mm.
kind of analysis. The environment also contributes, to some of these
Yeah.
things. So, what would be your advice to a young youth who is trying to navigate their passion with what they've studied and the reality of their country?
Great. Before I dive into that, passion, right, is not discovered.
Hmm.
Passion is created. You
Okay.
create passion, you don't discover it. Because here is it. We are in a world where people are always looking out for, I want to discover something in me. And sorry, you may not find anything at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because number one, economy is changing,
Mm-hmm.
environment is changing,
Mm-hmm.
policies are changing every single time. Uh, like literally everything can flip in 24 hours. So now imagine that we have to all rely on discovery. What happens? We will never find anything. So you create passion in the sense that you have done political science. What I expect you to do is you don't necessarily have to be a politician if you want to, right? You can, if you want to be a politician, it's fine. You can, you know the reality of life right now in the world. Technology is a tool, a game changer right now. So the question you're going to ask yourself is, how can I use technology to disrupt the political space, to make
Mm-hmm.
information more accessible to people, to citizens? How can I be a voice in this world where we have a lot of noise everywhere? How can I use technology to drive that? It might not be something that you enjoy, as I said before. You create it. I can assure you that in 2, 3 years, when people see you, they say, wow, you've made a lot of progress already. But
Mm-hmm.
for you, when you started off, it wasn't because you had passion for technology. You
Yes.
just had to leverage on what was in demand. And to boost your career, you were able to use that tool efficiently. That's how you create passion. And then by the time you create, over time, you become obsessed with it because there is results.
Mm-hmm.
You are seeing progress, and people
Mm-hmm.
are giving you accolades. You're saying, wow, I feel good, I love it. From day one, you never loved it. You just had to jump into it.
Yeah.
So an illustration I give people is that the person who is very good at crime, cyber crime today, the person did not discover passion. Oh. They were not. It wasn't as if they discovered. I must become a cyber bully or cyber or a scammer in the future. They didn't say that. It just started
Mm-hmm.
with small stuff. Do this one today. They saw results. They go again. They do okay results. They go again. Oh, they failed at it. Okay. Well, I failed this one. I'll probably try again. And now
Mm-hmm.
they are now a subject. They are now an expert in that thing. So now
Mm-hmm.
look at it. So it means that if you can literally create career or whatever in anything as long
Mm-hmm.
as you are into it every single time. That's how you create something. You create it.
Consistency.
Yeah,
Consistency.
yes, you create it with consistency and discipline. You create,
Mm-hmm.
so whether it's good or bad, with consistency and what do you call discipline, I can assure you that there will be results. I mean, whether it's a good thing or bad thing. So how
Mm-hmm.
much more you that you have good intention, you are waiting for a day that you are going to discover something. You're going to discover something. The day will never come. It's your duty to create. If someone asks me today that, okay, what's apart from technology, what would have I or what would I have done maybe 5 years or 6 years ago? I'll say maybe music, right? And if I put my energy to it, I will create something for it. Maybe by now I'll be like a global producer. So it's not like I didn't. I mean, maybe I had zero interest. If you build, you don't have to have interest in it. You will have interest later on. Do you get? You will have
Yeah.
interest later on. But the first thing is you create your passion. So political science, for example, it may not be relevant to you in Nigeria, but by the time you have a blend of technology to it, I can assure you that a lot of things will change. I'll give an example. There are very popular influencers on socials that they leverage technology to deliver medical content in a different style.
Mm-hmm.
While the other guys are still they have like other colleagues, they're still at home waiting for a job in maybe one hospital like that. And these guys are already driving like these people are a voice already in the ecosystem just by using technology.
Mm-hmm.
So for a political science student, right, yours might be, I know that people are not educated when it comes to policies, when it comes to governance or economy. I'm going to educate them and I'm going to leverage technology to do that. That's it. You have built a career already, and people will respect you. They will listen to you because you have a background in political science, because you are a subject matter expert in that space. You have a domain knowledge. They will respect you over somebody who does not even have like a background in that thing and eventually dabbled into it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? So the whole summary is that
Right.
regardless of your role, find a way to use technology to amplify your voice, amplify what you're doing, leverage technology with that.
Mm-hmm.
So you are not going to leave where you are right now because someone is telling you that the next big thing is being a software engineer or a product designer. You don't have to leave what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Leverage technology where you are and amplify your voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it.
All right, thank you so much. It was really, really a nice session, and
Yeah.
I completely support what you said about leveraging technology in whatever field and areas that you
Regardless
are,
of anything. Yeah.
regardless of anything. Yes, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us and your experience with us as well.
I'm
It's
glad.
quite sad that we have to go.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
I would have asked you more questions, but because of
Yeah.
time and the pod length period, that's the recording period, so we just have to drop our curtain.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I'm
again, trust
happy.
me, guys, we will be bringing Temidayo again. Either, we usually have our annual conference in Lagos. So I'm sure that when we call him, he's going to be more than happy. I'm speaking for him right now in his presence. He's going to be more than
Okay.
happy to come on board for our annual conference. And again, thank you so much, Temidayo, for coming on set. We really
Thank you very
appreciate your
much for having
time.
me.
We appreciate the knowledge that you've shared with us, and we look forward to having or seeing more of you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and well done to your team. You guys are doing a phenomenal job.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you so much. So, guys, this is where we say bye for now. Catch you
All
guys much
right.
later. Bye for now. Bye.
Yeah, cheers. Bye.